Thanks for tuning into the BoshNRoll channel. Liking the video and subscribing to the channel are free and easy for you, and they help me out a lot. If you want to go further with your support, Patreon and YouTube membership offer access to the BoshNRoll Discord community, early access to lists, written content, things like that. You can have me play your deck on the channel, and the highest tiers come with individual coaching sessions. If you use YouTube membership, you also get sweet badges and emotes integrated here into YouTube. You can support the channel while you shop at tcgplayer.com by using my affiliate link in the video description, and you can play any deck anytime by using a cardhoarder.com loan account on Magic Online. If you want to wear your support, check out the merch store. And of course, thanks for being here. Now let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today, at the request of Patreon subscriber Swim, I am playing Swim's Rule Landfall Life and Limb Brew. I've talked about this phenomenon on the channel before, where I'll just get batches of decks submitted around the same time by completely different users in different parts of the world who want to see the same sort of thing in action. I don't know if it's like seasonal or in the water or what's going on. Usually it's like Pox. I'll get like 4 or 5 Pox submissions in a month after nobody mentioning Pox for 6 months before that. Here we're in an even weirder little pocket. Recently on the channel, I did a mono red Impact Tremors Perforos creatures entering the battlefield aggro deck. This build incorporates Life and Limb, and I also have down the road a little bit a Life and Limb lands enchantment stasis deck in Legacy coming. I don't know how this happened, but we're going to get 2 Impact Tremors decks and 2 Life and Limb decks on the channel when nobody has said the names of these cards out loud to me in years before this run of deck submissions. It's really fascinating how that happens. Anyway, what this deck is doing is, at its core, it's a Dryad of the Elysian Grove, Valakut the Molten Pinnacle, landfall burn deck. We've seen that 1,000 times, 1,000 different ways. Red-green Valakut with Primeval Titan, with Scape Shift, with Amulet Titan. It's all there. This is just embedded in the modern format. We've also seen Wrenn and 6 all over the place, obvious modern staple. We've seen Utopia Sprawl with Arbor Elf, ramping mana up into the sun. Elvish Reclaimer, more of a legacy card. You don't see a whole lot of this in modern, but it is legal, and it fits this deck. It's a cheap creature. It tutors up your Valakut. It puts lands in the graveyard. And it's a 3/4 a lot of the time. And here's where it gets weird. We have a Goblin Bombardment, which can sacrifice creatures to deal 1 to any target. All right. We haven't really seen many creatures yet. Where's this going? Impact Tremors. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, deals 1 damage to each opponent. Again, haven't seen a whole lot of creatures yet. What's going on here? That's where Life and Limb and Spore Mound come into play. Life and Limb, this is a weird card from Planar Chaos. 4 mana enchantment, all forest and all saprolings are 1/1 green saproling creature tokens and forest lands in addition to their other types. I think I just added the word token. If the permanent is not originally a token, it won't become one. Forest and saprolings are forest and saprolings. Is basically what this card does. What does that mean for us? It means that if you have Life and Limb in play and you play a forest, that will trigger Impact Tremors. If you have Dryad of the Elysian Grove and you put a saproling into play off Spore Mound, then that saproling will trigger Valakut. And now you can sort of see where these are overlaying with each other. The reason Spore Mound is in the deck is that it specifically makes saprolings. This is, unfortunately, the cheapest landfall make a saproling card that exists. It might be the only one, actually. There's lots of cards that, like Scoot Mob makes tokens for cheaper, but those tokens aren't saprolings, so they don't work with Life and Limb. And this is the engine piece we get if this is the deck we want to play. It is what it is. 5 mana 3/3 straight into modern. But you can see all the moving parts here, where with Life and Limb in play, suddenly Impact Tremors cares about your land drop for the turn. Suddenly Valakut cares about a creature coming into play. And you could, if you have Goblin Bombardment, and you stick Life and Limb, you can just chuck all your lands at your opponent. Surprise, here's 8 damage out of nowhere. It's a crazy engine. I have no idea if it's going to work, but I put more work into trying to figure out this engine than I normally do for these decks that get submitted to me. I put a lot of hours in on Scryfall. Hours may be a little generous. I maybe put in like most of 1 hour on Scryfall working on this, but I feel like I've tuned it up to a place that's pretty interesting. Swim's original version had 4 Commune with the Gods. 1 in a green sorcery, reveal the top 5 cards of your library. You may put a creature or enchantment card from among them in your hand, put the rest in the graveyard. I added 2 more of this effect and switched it over to Benefaction of Ronus. For 1 extra colorless mana, so 2 in a green, reveal the top 5 cards of your library. Look at the same number, but you may put a creature and or enchantment from them into your hand and the rest into the graveyard. This deck is built on creatures and enchantments. There's 2 cards in the deck, 2 non-land cards in the deck that aren't a creature or an enchantment, and those are Wrenn and 6 and Splendid Reclamation. We'll talk about Splendid Reclamation in a second here. But Benefaction and Commune are your engine cards, and I really wanted to pay you off for dumping all these lands in the graveyard, which is where I added Splendid Reclamation. Return all land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. This could be an enormous burst of SAPROLINGS and landfall triggers and Valakut triggers and just an enormous blast of stuff. Impact Tremors, a bunch of creatures to throw with Goblin Bombardment. This should be good for some large number of lands because we also have fetch lands in the deck. We have Elvish Reclaimer in the deck. Boseiju and Sokenzan and Tranquil Thicket all naturally put themselves in the graveyard, which is where they overlap with Wrenn and 6. Wrenn and 6, also if you get up to the emblem, that lets you cast Splendid Reclamation from your graveyard. If you mill past it early, Wrenn and 6 can recur it later. It's a lot of subtle overlap that may or may not come up. Modern's a high power format, and we might not have time to get all these engines online. This is kind of built like an EDH deck where we assume we're going to have 25 turns to get all our things together. But the good news is you don't need all the things together. The things overlap with each other enough that usually 2 of them will get an engine online that will either close a game or collapse and you lose the game. So we're not going to be playing a million turns, but if we ever do get all of the things online, or if we ever do get time in a game, the pieces are there to create these cool engines. The sideboard just has potent cards in specific matchups. The sideboard was tough to build because the whole main deck was tight for slots. I probably wanted to play like 68 cards in this main deck, while all the cards I actually wanted to play, like a full playset of Wrens. I had to shave some Life and Limbs from the original build that I had 4. Like there's a lot of stuff I wanted in the main deck, and spots are tight already. So there wasn't a lot of room to go nuts out of the sideboard. I just have the 4x Endurance, 4x Force of Vigor, just free pitch spells for the matchups where you need them. Alpine Moon for Saga and Valakut Mirrors and Tron. Destiny Spinner against the blue decks. Creatures and enchantments you control can't be countered. This whole deck, like we talked about, is creatures and enchantments. And a couple of Tireless Trackers for the value in fair matchups. You would get a lot of landfall out of this deck, which is kind of the point of the deck. It's a Gruul landfall deck. This is kind of crazy. I don't know if it's going to work, but let's go try it. I'm on the play in game 1, and I have all of the top-end engine stuff. I'm going to keep this. We might just die before we do anything, but I'm going to give the deck a chance to do its thing. Having the Splendid Rec in the opening hand is exciting because that's a 2 of, and the deck's full of engine pieces that help get lands in the graveyard. Oh, good. It's Tron. Yikes. If I play Yavimaya, I can speed up this hand a lot, but I also give Tron green mana, which I don't always want to do. But I think I'm going to play to my own plan here. I'm going to sprawl the Yavimaya. I'm going to name Red so I can cast my Impact Tremors. And we could Life and Limb as soon as next turn. And the cool thing about Yavimaya and Life and Limb is that all forests and saprolings, not just yours, which means that my opponent's Urza's Mine is going to have summoning sickness. Okie dokie. LFG. We might be able to do something here. If I find a Goblin Bombardment, I can actually just roast my opponent. If I can, like, start picking off their Tron lands. Okay. Well, let's get weird. It's starting. Alright, so their Urza's Mine has summoning sickness. They don't have Tron right now. If I can find Goblin Bombardment, I can actually pick them off before they ever do anything. They do still have 5 mana to operate with here. Expedition map, you got it. Another tower, which will also be summoning sick, and Ancient Stirrings because they get to use their forest. Yavimaya giveth and taketh away. Wormcoil Engine. Alright. Dryad. Are you helpful? And you don't hurt. So I'll play Dryad, Impact Tremors, play Stomping Ground, Impact Tremors. And I actually am going to attack with my Valakut because I can take them off Tron if they block. This is awesome. And they have Tron active now, so depending on what comes out of this, like they stirred up this Wormcoil Engine, but Karn picking off Life and Limb just sort of collapses my thing here. All right, it was just the Wormcoil Engine. Okay, deck, time to deliver. Fetch land would be great here. Benefaction of Ronus. Come on, deck. Another Dryad, not what I'm looking for. I'm going to play the Spore Mound. And off we go. Yeah, now they have 10 mana. They can just Ulamog me. We had a window there. Didn't find any of the mulch stuff. Boo. Boo. Dryad and Life and Limb. Alright, I have another Dryad. Losing the Life and Limb sucks, though. And we are simply not beating the Ulamog. Okay. That was exciting. A deck less explosive than Tron might have succumbed to that. I don't know. I feel like there's something here. Against Tron specifically, we have Alpine Moon, and Force of Vigor does have some application. We also have Boseiju in the deck. But here we are running into the exact thing I described, which is every card in the main deck is doing a lot of work. Finding cuts is a challenge. And I have to find cuts for the Alpine Moon. That is required. I don't necessarily need the Force of Vigors. Ren and 6 recurring Boseiju is one of the ways to actually keep this deck running, so I can't cut Ren here. Maybe Spore Mound is a little too expensive for what we're doing here, and Impact Tremors is not going to kill a Tron player. Goblin Bombardment. Goblin Bombardment would have won us that game, like on the spot, picking off Tron lands as they were creatures. Ren and 6 also, pinging the Urza's Tower, just kill Urza's Tower with Ren and 6. That shit's hot. Okay. Alpine Moons are in, Impact Tremors and a Spore Mound are out. Do I cut both Tremors? Yeah, Tremors is a lot better against decks that are kind of farting around and just letting you put creatures into play and answering them. It doesn't really play against Ulamog and Oblivion Stone and that kind of thing. This is what I'm going to try. Alright, I have Sprawl and Elf. I'm going to keep. This one is kind of the opposite of last game. Arbor Elf, let's go. If I can find a Benefaction or Commune and get something going here, we're in good shape. Wooded Foothills. I'm going to get a Stomping Ground. I will take the pain. Utopia Sprawl. Do I need more red? I don't think I do. I'm going to name green for this and get 4 mana to play Dryad of the Elysian Grove. Then I'm going to use my extra land drop to play Valakut. And go ahead. Okay, they have Tron. Gotta find that Boseiju or Alpine Moon. Come on, Benefaction. I want some fireworks. Commune with the gods. All right, let's go. Do I play a land first I could play and fetch. I think I just commune. Alpine Moon, baby. There it is. Boseiju into the graveyard. Grab this Alpine Moon. Play Wooded Foothills. Alpine Moon. I guess I'll name Mine. No, I want to name Tower. Doesn't matter. And Tower's the best one. I'll just name that, I guess. Urza's Tower is now that. And I'm going to make another Dryad. And I'm not going to crack my fetch land, because if I get into Valakut, having a fetch land in play is worth a lot more than a different land, and it taps for 5 colors right now anyway. Splendid Wreck off the top just goes to town. They can... Oh, they got Blast Zone. All right. I was going to say they can get Boseiju with this Sylvan Scrying, then Boseiju, the Alpine Moon, but that also ramps me. All right. Splendid Wreck. Let's go. Oh, his name is Ronus. Let's see. Benefaction. Oh, that was kind of uninspired, actually. Okay. Not exciting. Blast Zone is in hand. I should probably just play another Dryad and attack with the 2 that I have. What was I looking for there? Was it Life and Limb? Another Alpine Moon? The Blast Zone can blast the Alpine Moon anyway. They can't map and zone, but they don't need to do both. Yeah, the Blast Zone taking out Elf, Utopia Sprawl, and Alpine Moon is kind of rough. Good reason not to get Boseiju. Splendid Reclamation off the top still just ends this game, though. And finding the other Ren or the other Boseiju can clip them off Tron again. And they have map, they can reassemble Tron pretty quickly. Yeah, if they Blast Zone, they're going to lose their own Expedition map. So they kind of sequence that a little poorly. Come on, Splendid Wreck, Splendid Wreck. Oh, we found the Ren. Yeah, please Blast Zone now. I'm begging you. If they did not Blast Zone, I'm going to attack with all my creatures. I don't need more than this. I need exactly 4 mana, which is what I have. Even if they Blast Zone. Nice. That destroys those 3 permanents, including their Expedition map. And then I can 1, 2, Ren and 6. And then I can put the Utopia Sprawl on this Stomping Ground and get him green. And I can pick up Boseiju. And I guess I have to do this before they can spend mana. I could wait for their draw step. Maybe they're less likely to have a land in their deck at that point. But in your draw step, I'm going to Boseiju the tower and hope they don't have another tower in hand. Stirrings. Boo! Boo! Tron is bullshit. Alright, can you take out my Ren and 6? And if you can, is there enough time? Alright, that doesn't take out Ren. Splendid Reclamation once again is GG. Let's keep it going. Stomping Ground. Can I actually just win the game now? I think I can, right? If I skip on the Boseiju and just pick up a fetch land with Ren, yeah, that's lethal with Valakut. Or if I get an extra Valakut, does that deal more damage? I think it's the same. Alright, I'm going to pick up Valakut, play Valakut, then play Stomping Ground. I'm not going to pay 2 life. Get to go upstairs for 6, then my fetch land puts another 6. Down the line. As long as there's a land left in my deck, and there is. Nice. Disrupted them just long enough to make this happen. That was nice. Okay, we get a game 3. Force of Vigor is really tempting to try to hit an Expedition map before they can use it. It might be better than Spore Mound, but both of these games we've just been sort of sitting with 2/3 of an engine, and I don't want to add more things that are not engines. I think this deck needs to focus on winning with mild disruption, not like pile in 6 to 8 cards against any given deck. I have the Wreck and multiple Benefactions. My mana's really slow though. I could lose this game before my opponent does, before I really do anything. If they have turn 3 Karn, I'm in trouble. They mulled to 4, that helps. Ooh, they're not going to have turn 3 Tron. At best, it's turn 4 Tron now. That's not a Tron piece. You're saying there's a chance. Oh, and I ripped the Sprawl. Get out of here. Okay, Forest, Utopia Sprawl. We're doing it. I'm going to name green. I don't need more red. This is almost a mono green deck, especially in the sideboard. I boarded out 2 red cards. I guess I also boarded in 2 different red cards. Oh, wow, their hand is bad. I need this. I need it. Oh, wow, Dryad. That changes things a little bit. If they have Force of Vigor, it's a pretty big blowout, because I do have 2 really potent enchantments, but they also go down to 1 card in hand to do that. They found a Tron land. That was their draw for the turn or for the star, or the sphere. Whatever this object is. I drew a land. Nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could play Spore Mound now, or I could start benefacting. I should be benefacting. Benefaction of Ronus. Found Elvish Reclaimer and Spore Mound. I don't get both because they're creatures. I'm going to get the Reclaimer. Play Sokenzon. That is better as a land. Elvish Reclaimer as a 3/4. And attack. There's only 2 lands in the graveyard right now. Splendid Reclamations. Good for 6 damage. Oh, they cracked their sphere to draw a card and missed. This is good for me. Oh no, they have something. Oh, that was weird. They just floated a colorless and then did nothing. They just fucking with me? I don't get it. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. I think I should Benefaction. See where that goes. I found a Utopia Sprawl and a Dryad. I'll take both of those. 2 more lands hit the bin here. And I can play this Mountain. And then I don't need to sprawl one of my other lands and risk a blowout here. Just going to sprawl Stomping Ground. Name green. I'm going to attack for 2. And then I'm going to rotate Sokenzon into a Valakut and then win next turn with Splendid Rec. That's my plan. They're at 16. They found a forest. Please don't have endurance. Oblivion Stone. All right, that's too late. In the end step, Elvish Reclaimer. Sacrifice Sokenzon. Search my deck for Valakut. And then, oh, I can channel Beseju, which ends up coming back into play anyway. Can I... should I give them a green, though? If they have just, like, Nature's Claim, it fizzles the Valakut. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, I can back it up with a second Dryad. And then I'm actually just going to Splendid Rec. This is either lethal or they have a response. And if they have a response, then I would prefer that the Seiju is still in my hand. Splendid. Yes. Yes. Undefeated with Gruul, Life and Limb, Valakut Landfall. This is the Modern that we come to love. On to the next round. On the draw in round 2. This hand is great. I'm going to keep it. Let's hope they're Hammer Time, or like a deck with X1s where Ren and 6 and Goblin Bombardment shine. Though I don't actually have any creatures to fling yet. Goblin Bombardment is pretty bad if you're not already going off. Sokenzon, though. That's some goblins I can bombard with. They're technically spirits, but are you a cop? Inquisition. I expect them to take Ren and 6 because it's the most respectable Modern card here. Though they could take Utopia Sprawl to try to slow me down. We certainly have the Brewer's advantage deciding on this Inquisition of Kozilek. Yep, Ren and 6 is gone. Life and Limb. There it is. I believe I want to fetch a basic forest and put Utopia Sprawl on it. And I'm going to name green. I have plenty of red already. We'll just get bigger and bigger. Goblin Bombardment just got better with Life and Limb, though. Though I don't have the Yavimaya to bring it all together. Another Verdant Catacombs. Blood Crypt. This is looking a little more Rakdos. Oh no! This is not a card I'm well suited to play against. Yeah, Graveyard Hate. This deck is distressingly soft too. I think I have to Stomping Ground Goblin Bombardment this turn. And then try to finish the Voidwalker off with Sokenzen next turn. So I can start functioning out of my graveyard, which is an essential avenue of my deck. Here's the 3 damage. Don't have another one. Thoughtseize. Okay. They found the life and limb. Luckily, Boseiju and Sokenzen can answer Voidwalker and can't get Thoughtseized. So I imagine they're a deck that would love to cast Benefaction of Ronus. Okay, I'm going to play Boseiju. They missed their land drop. That's kind of hot. I'm just going to Sokenzen now and kill this thing. I even get to attack if I do it now. That's fun. These do have haste. Attack with my spirit tokens. Oh, it's at 12 already. How did that happen? I guess fetch, shock, Thoughtseize. That'll do it. And I guess I can pass the turn. They're not going to just sack this to cast Life and Limb. So I just have to hope they don't have a pump spell or something that cares about Revolt or Morbid. Okay, that thing's gone. Don't play another one. I hate you. My opponent sucks. Impact Tremors. All right. We are moving towards something that resembles a win condition because their life total is low. Tremor. Reclaimer. Take 1. Okay. Yeah, their life total is low and they are missing land drops. We could string something together here. Terminate. Oh, you're going to take 1 on the way out. They can steal my Elvish Reclaimer if they want to, but then they lose their 3/2. This Benefaction's risky because it loads up this Voidwalker with potentially awesome spells, but I have to cast the spell that I have. All right, Ronus, help me out here. All right, I found a Spore Mound. Fuck yeah. That card's going to be tough for them to beat. They get a Wrenn and 6 if they want it. I don't like that. Okay. A fetch land off the top is insane for me. If I can Spore Mound, make 2 Saprolings, which are good for 4 damage, plus an existing board presence. They don't seem interested in any of my cards that are in exile. They could have cast my Wrenn and hit their land drops. They have another Thoughtseize, though. Alright, Kroxa is rough, but they're miles away from casting it, and I do have a brick that I'm happy to discard in my hand. Okay, fetch land off the top. Spore Mound, get crazy. Let's go. Fetch land, fetch land. I'll take that. And I am going to play it as a land. Impact Tremors does give away priority on land drops. They're tapped out currently, but that's worth taking note of for the future. Okay, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're at 2 on board. I'm currently winning the race, but we know they have at least 4 spells in hand. Bummer. Oh no, they can have my Spore Mound if they want it. I could take out the Voidwalker. Yeah, that's better. And they can get a spell out of it here, which kind of sucks, but killing this thing is better than putting them to 6 when I'm still just dying. They didn't use it? What? They don't know about the most important text on that card? Or the most fun text? It's not the most important. All right, all right, all right. Big Dryad, take 1. Suddenly, back in here. I'm really glad they didn't take my Wrenn and 6. Passing the turn. Spores. Gonna attack first. See if I can flush out a removal spell. Nope. Spores. Take another damage. These are the kind of matchups. Like, I boarded out Impact Tremors against Tron, but these are the sort of matchups, the scrappy ones where like these points here and there actually do add up over time. They have Lightning Bolt. They get bombarded. They are currently dead on board if they can't answer my Dryad. If they play a Shockland, They lose. Fetch land's dangerous. Oh my god, they conceded the game! It might be a little early, but I think we broke Modern. This matchup. My deck has a gigantic removal problem, and I did notice that when I was building it. Like, did I just want, like, some lightning bolts in this deck? And I just couldn't figure out where to put them. I was relying on raw power. Endurance is a thick booty that I can just throw into play and pivot off of the graveyard stuff if they're over there with their Dothy Voidwalkers. Tireless Tracker, also probably good against this Rakdos, Scrappy, whatever this is. Yeah, I think I'm gonna lay off the graveyard a bit. That makes Commune a lot worse as well. Just focus on being a fair creature deck that can engage them in combat. And I still have the Valakut business. I think I just have to play normal. The Tremors and Bombardments are actually great. Ren's great. Reclaimer's great. And just hit land drops and win the game. That sounds reasonable. Let's do that. I have Bombardment, which is the most important card. I'm going to keep this hand. That's my only removal spell in the deck, and I would like access to it. Lead on Valakut. Found the third land, so we're starting to get it together here. They didn't do anything on turn 1. That's cool. Didn't do anything on turn 1 or 2. What's going on over there? What do they think this is? All right, I'm actually going to lead on Tremors now that I have it, because I have double Bombardment. Even if they have a discard spell, I get to keep one of them. And Tremors, you want Tremors first. Bombardment, you can play second, like in order of like when your creatures arrive. You need Tremors up front, so I think investing in that makes sense. Blood Moon. Okay, that's annoying. It doesn't matter that much. Still have a plan. I could Dryad and Verdant Catacombs now. I could get my Bombardment in. I think I want to Dryad and just make sure I hit this extra land drop. And I do have all colors because Dryad beats Blood Moon in that heads-up fight, but that's not the only thing that's going on here, obviously. I'm really glad I boarded off of the combo half because Blood Moon blanks that pretty hard. Benefaction of Ronus. It's time. Jabronis. Wow, just missed. 0 for 5. That sucks. That's not supposed to happen. Okay, we probably just lost the game. I was looking forward to my 2 for 1 there, getting ahead of the Liliana, and instead we just put 5 cards in their graveyard where I boarded out most of my ways to interact with them. My Wrens are still in the deck. Wren picking up Tranquil Thicket could start to undo this, but that was ugly. Now the Liliana's tricky because I want to discard Bombardment because I don't need 2, but if I discard 1 to Lily and then they hit me with an Inquisition, I lose the other, and that's kind of really important. Player discards a card. Alright, I'm gonna take the risk. Protect the Spore Mound at all costs. I love Spore Mound. Old Pyromancer, you got it. Guard Lightning Bolt in a land. 1 black up. The perfect number to Thoughtseize me and ruin my life. They didn't have it. There's a Valakut. I can put Spore Mound in, but it just dies. I'm going to Benefaction again, because I can still cast Goblin Bombardment. I'm just going to really try to get a 2 for 1 somewhere here. Okay. This time we hit. I'm going to get Endurance and Utopia Sprawl. Pop these in my hand, play Valakut, play Bombardment, because I'm going to discard the Utopia Sprawl to Liliana. That's not a card I actually need here. Cool trick, by the way. If I evoke Endurance, it triggers Impact Tremors, and I can throw it at my opponent before it dies to its evoke trigger. A land gets me ahead of Liliana. Boo! Alright. Thoughtseize is pretty good. Let's see what they're worried about here. Endurance is the best card in my hand, but Spore Mound specifically lines up against their edicts pretty well. Oh, they took the Spore Mound! Yes! That makes me so happy that we have designed the deck in such a fashion that my opponent cast Thoughtseize in Modern, the powerful Modern format, and chose to take Spore Mound over Endurance. $50 Modern Horizons 2 Mythic Rare, or Draft common you didn't know existed before this video. Choose your fighter. Okay, I got options here. I can either play Endurance and Mountain and just be hellbent ahead of the Liliana, or I guess this doesn't matter that much. Yeah, I'm going to play the Mountain. If they plus Liliana, I can flash Endurance in response. If they have a discard spell, then they can minus Liliana. If they have nothing, then they just like don't even get to activate her. I'm going to let combat happen. And let's see what the follow-up is. Like, Kroxa gets me here. Inquisition, Thoughtseize is all pretty good. But they just have, like, some creature. Okay, each player discards a card. I'll respond with Endurance. Targeting them, of course. If they, like, terminate Endurance here, then they're Hellbent. Discarded Robert Nicholas. Wow. That card is at its best when you're Hellbent. They must have another one. Oh, Fury. That plays. Shit. Yeah, that was a good card to have in your hand. Not sure this game's winnable at this point. I'm going to take out the Elemental token. I think that's better than putting a random point of damage on Liliana. Yeah. Now I'm in the awkward spot where I need to hit a landfall like something like Tireless Tracker is what I needed to dig out of that, but Liliana's going to keep it so I can't sandbag lands to hit land drops later. Yep. Lost that one, fair and square. Blood Moon was involved in that loss, for sure. I should probably bring in some number of Force of Vigor now that I've seen that going on. Maybe Tremors doesn't impact the board enough. Like, it will help win a game where I'm stable and nothing's really going on, but I've kind of sideboarded into a plan where that's not really the goal anymore. Benefaction is a lot worse without Splendid Wreck in my deck. I don't want to go too crazy on Force of Vigor, because if I end up with a fully reactive hand and my opponent's just like, no Blood Moon this game, Liliana, let's go, then I lose that one too. I did have 2 Besagis in the deck, so I had outs. Keep this so fast. I'm going to Utopia Sprawl. This might have been bad, because now I don't have double green. Like, I have to name red if I want Ren and 6 next turn. And now I can't double green for Endurance. Maybe I was supposed to just lead on Valakut. Please don't Thoughtseize me. This opponent. The worst. Just the worst. No common courtesy whatsoever. Yep, Ren's gone. No surprise there. Ooh. As far as follow-ups go, that was a good one. There's a lot of mana next turn. Bloodstained Mire, cracking it immediately. They got something here. Voidwalker. Okay, so Benefaction is just the cards. Ooh. Yes. Okay. Utopia Sprawl. This one's going to be green. Green. Untap this forest. I can Benefaction or just hold up Endurance and start trying to beat down. I think I want a Benefaction, though. Leaving a green in the pool. Found Reclaimer and Spore Mound. I'm a Spore Mound gamer, for sure. Yeah, missed on the 2-for-1. Unfortunate. And a Force of Vigor was exiled. My opponent could cash in their Voidwalker to roast my Sprawls. But they have not seemed aware of that text of the card yet. I'm just going to keep hoping they don't know about it. Having my Sprawls on a basic forest means they're insulated from Blood Moon, because Utopia Sprawl has to enchant a forest. And if I had it on Stomping Ground, Blood Moon would turn that into not a forest anymore. We do have some insulation here. Oh, shit. Okay. Yeah, we're not winning this one. Insulated hard against Blood Moon, died to Engineered Explosives instead. And a forest or green source of some sort gets Endurance online here. All right. Another Jabronis. What else can I fill up my opponent's graveyard for? Or my opponent's Voidwalker. Yeah, I'm missing all these land drops in your lands deck. Normally we'd be building towards something with the graveyard pop, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lands have hit the graveyard, but that line obviously doesn't exist right now. Endurance can't ambush the Voidwalker, A, because they know about it, and B, because Shadow. I'll try casting this spell. If they kill this, I'm just going to concede. because this game's not going anywhere. But if I somehow untap with it, that's exciting. But there is still a Force of Vigor under the Voidwalker, and Dryad is an enchantment. Okay, I'm good. We're not winning this one. Yeah, they picked us apart pretty good. In round one, like Tron, it was just sort of a race to the finish line. This deck actually has multiple different angles of interaction, plus potent hate cards. Yeah, GG's. On to the next one. We're a few rounds into the video. Thanks for sticking with me. Friendly reminder that if you're still here and having fun, smash that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, you can use my affiliate link for TCG Player to support the channel while you shop for cards, and you can try any deck anytime with a cardhoarder.com loan account for Magic Online. All these links are in the video description below. Now back to the league. I'm playing against Gigantha. I'm on the play. I'm going to keep this hand. Gigantha, sometimes it's Tron, but I know Grixis Shadow these days, now that they can't play Luris, are into Gigantha business. I'm going to lead on Arbor Elf and set up the turn 2 Explosion. I have noticed that the deck runs out of land drops a lot. Like, I wonder if actual mulch should be part of the Benefaction commune package. Like, if the 2 communes were just 2 mulches instead, maybe that's better. Raggy Daddy. I will put a 2/4 butt in front of that. Okay, how much mana do I have this turn? The answer is 4. That's an awkward number. I have to take my 2 damage no matter what here, so I will. I'm going to sprawl up for additional green. Dryad, and no land drop to follow up. Sad news. Triple Benefaction. Yeah, I definitely wish one of these was just mulch, but these are the 3 Benefactions. These aren't slots I would be messing with. Grixis Shadow confirmed. The Ledger Shredder. I'm likely to trigger that. Okay. 1, 2. Should I leave my red up? Yeah, I think I should. 3, 4. Benefaction of Ronus. Let's go. Down Tremors and Reclaimer. And I'm definitely taking Tremors as my enchantment. And then do I want another Arbor Elf or a Reclaimer? Probably Reclaimer. That's just a big body. And do I want to start tremoring this opponent or put the 2/3 or 1/2 into play? Either way, it triggers Ledger Shredder. Yeah, Reclaimer is the type of thing that I want in play now. And they're a deck that likes to reduce their life total, so keeping an eye on Impact Tremors. I would hate to passively feed them an early Death Shadow. Their Shredder discarded a land. Brown. Yeah, that works. I have another one of those. That's fine. Uh-oh. They're getting pushed or thought seized. Both bad. Fatal pushing my elf. That's annoying. They're going to put me to the test on trading with Ragavan or not. Probably going to do it. Yeah, right now while I still can. Yeah, fine. Don't like that, but there it is. Gonna get another Dryad into play. Yeah, running out of lands, big problem. Maybe we just need more lands. Maybe we need some mulch effects. I don't know. Got an expressive iteration on the stack now. Found a polluted delta. Thoughtseize. Alright, my hand sucks. Good luck with that. They connived away a Ragavan. Kind of exciting. That means they can't get through my 2/4. Or it means they don't care. One or the other. My opponent's over there, like, what the hell have I queued into? These are all just unplayable draft commons. Unplayable might be rough. I feel like Spore Mound and Benefaction both had spots in limited formats. Impact Tremors, I don't think that supported its own archetype. Maybe it did. I don't know. Whatever it was, they're scared of it. I'm going to attack. I need to get their life total down. If they had Death Shadow, they could have cast it last turn and didn't. Just going to get another one of these in. There's Ragavan. 2/4. You love to see it. Death Shadow. Alright, it's huge. We knew that was a possibility. Looted away another land with Ledger Shredder. Okay, they are empty right now. If they get the redraw with Mishra's Bauble, targeted themselves, going to use the Scry action. Build your own Scry with Death Shadow. Death Shadow is threatening to be a 10/10 on board. And they liked whatever card they saw. God. I have enough of these, deck. Please stop. Okay, I got a Reclaimer and a Tremors here. I'll take them. There's now a Valakut in the graveyard. So it would be difficult for me to draw a land and a Splendid Reclamation in the same turn. And I suspect the card that they have in their hand is Drown in the Loch. There was kind of a long pause on my Benefaction. They were deciding if they care. Yeah, this deck needs some mulches. Actual mulch. Thoughtseize. Probably takes Tremors. Like, I'm running out of ways to cheese them out of this game. I'm not going to block 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They can put me to 1. I died a Lightning Bolt. I died a Dress Down. Whatever. I'm dead if I block too, so let's leave some material in play. Okay, stopped at 4. Does that help me? I can play Elvish Reclaimer, which is big. I can't shock because then I go to 2 and I lose. And losing is worse than winning. If I attack with one of these Dryads, I don't think I get to do that either. This Stomping Ground. If only you were a basic land. Even a fetch land is fine, but Shredder being bad. But if I double spell, they get to shred. That has its own risks involved. I'm going to play Reclaimer. I feel like this one has the most heat on it as far as things it might do or threaten to do. If their hand is like any spell, I'm not winning this game. But if they have a blank over there, Bobble was the draw for turn. They would have played it last turn if they had it already. Targeting themselves. Fetching. Didn't like it. Uh-oh. They have a spell. It's the Drown in the Loch that I read all those turns ago. Indeed it is. Okay. I've lost my good creature. I have to block this time. I have to chump block Shadow. This Ragavan is just holding the fort over there. Go to 1. They get a draw. I get Wrenn and 6. You don't do what I need you to. Yeah, I can kill Ragavan and attack for 2, but they're at 5. Maybe this Impact Tremors would have killed them by now. Okay. Yeah, we just didn't hit land drops and handful of spells we couldn't cast. That's a deck building problem that we can address in the rebuild at the end of the league. This is an endurance matchup. They have flying creatures. They use their graveyard. This is a tracker matchup. I think I get to keep my Splendid Rex. Sorry, Life and Limb. It's not you, buddy. It's me. I like the Reclaimers, the Elves. Do I like the Elves? I guess they are creatures for Benefaction reasons. Commune might be bad. I like the Benefactions a 2-for-1. Spore Mound versus Death Shadow is the matchup I need in my life. It's hitting land drops and blocking forever. Yeah, maybe Benefaction just gets replaced by Tireless Tracker. Yeah, I want to keep the Arbor Elves and Utopia Sprawls. I do want to present early interaction, like make them do stuff early on. And I think the Splendid Rex are going to slap in this matchup too. Speaking of, there they are. I'm going to keep. And I will lead on Arbor Elf. Opponent kept 7. Unlucky. Please cast Fatal Push. Damn it. My Wrenn. My beautiful Wrenn. That's pretty good, though. Okay, I'm going to Sprawl to make... Hold up. Can I do better? If I Verdant Catacombs, Fetch Shock, get a Stomping Ground, get that set up. I don't think this opponent's going to Blood Moon me. Yeah, so I'm going to Sprawl the non-basic. I'm going to name green, because I can tap for red if I need to. And then I can go green, untap, and I'm just going to make green, because I'm going to Benefaction and Reclaim here. If I can get Reclaimer in as a 3-4 on the first shot, that's pretty exciting. Hell yeah, Spore Mound. Let's go. Spore Mound in my hand. Reclaimer's huge. I can Spore Mound next turn. Turn 3 Spore Mound. It's like show and tell in Legacy. Watch out. Maybe they'll just play Ledger Shredder and pass the turn. That would be great. Opponent's already at 13. Terminated my Arbor Elf. That makes sense. Oh, I like Endurance. I'm just going to beat down here. Attack with Reclaimer. And I'm going to hold back on Endurance. The only card they know about is Spore Mound. If they try to drown me, I can Endurance myself and fizzle the drown. It's kind of a low resource EI here. If they miss their land drop, I'm just crunching for 6. They bobbled me. All right, they are missing their land drop. Do I want to turn off Drown or turn off Roxa? Oh, if I Endurance me, then my Reclaimer gets small too. Yeah, I'm just going to hit them. We're racing for the finish line here. Another Spore Mound. Fear my spores. Swim's original build of this deck did have a Bojuka Bog in the main as part of the Elvish Reclaimer package, but I just don't think Bojuka Bog fits into the normal play patterns of this deck, and I made it more combo-y with the Splendid Rex. We just don't have that line anymore. Opponent's cracking a fetch land down to 3. Every creature I have is lethal right now. If they drop 3 Death Shadows, I'm in trouble. Don't care about that. If they Shredder plus Shadow, they're still dead on board. Discarded a Thoughtseize. Well, I'm gonna attack. And hope they can't exile my graveyard for free. They couldn't do it. 3/4 tribal. If your combo deck can't win, board into an aggro deck. Do I want Destiny Spinners? Spinner is just like another thing that I can put into play. I would be cutting probably the last 2 Benefactions if I go for that. Benefaction doesn't impact the board. That makes me nervous. Though it did load up that Reclaimer. Like, that game was made possible by Benefaction supercharging a Reclaimer. And Splendid Wreck gets really bad if you're not benefacting at all. Yeah, maybe this doesn't make any sense. I'm bringing the Benefactions back. Do I want to go down to 1 Splendid Wreck, or is jamming these on the stack really important? I could cut a Wreck for a Spinner. No, I think I like the explosiveness of... Even if I don't have a Dryad to kill them with Valakut, just like the idea of 1 spell putting 2 to 5 lands into play is really exciting. Once again, I have Wrenn and 6 in my opening hand. Once again, I'm sure it's going to get Thoughtseized, but I am going to keep. I have my 2 best value permanents in my deck, in my hand right now. I'm going to hit land drops. That's not Ragavan mana. I'm happy with that. I'm getting bobbled, which probably means I'm getting Thoughtseized. Oh, okay. Or not. Okay, they've seen Endurance now, and they've seen my second card, but I'm going to shuffle it away with a fetch land. I'm just getting Stomping Ground tapped here. This was a pretty slow start from them. I like it. They know I have Endurance. Team Vents. Going to Shredder Town. We are. There is a basic mountain in the deck, which is why I let on Verdant Catacombs, because I might want to fetch Pain-Free Red later with Wooded Foothills. Probably not, but knowing it's there is comforting. Looks like I am getting my Wrenn and 6 this game, at least temporarily, until Ledger Shredder kills it. Discarded a Death Shadow, wow. Dumping threats over there. That's pretty scary. All right, Wrenn, get in there. We're hitting land drops this game. DRC, all right. And they know about Endurance, they can chew that up. The 4th Bobble is here. They get a Surveil and a Connive. Shit's crazy. This deck is awesome. I think if I had a Modern tournament tomorrow, I would play this Grixis Shredder deck. Dumping Unholy Heat. That was the Surveil, so that gives them Delirium now. Drown in the Lock is not even close to on, and Wrenn is going to keep it that way. Put 3 damage on Wrenn. Got it. Here's my basic swamp, or basic mountain, whatever that land is. I'm going to get a basic forest, pick up Verdant Catacombs, and then a Seiju is legendary creature, so Wrenn doesn't count. Unfortunate. Clean up, I'm going to discard the Verdant Catacombs they've seen over and over again. Oh wait, no, I want fetch lands. Yeah, I'm going to discard the mountain. Like, next turn, if I can Endurance this turn, and then Tracker, fetch, crack, get 2 clues next turn, that's sort of a long-term plan. Another Shredder. Woof. Okay, they have to attack. I'm getting a strong Unholy Heat read here, but I'm still going to make the play that I have. They sent both creatures at Wrenn. Kind of surprising. Guess they were playing around something. I don't know. Yeah, they have the Unholy Heat, which is super delirious. Every card they connive and surveil here is going to be gone. But yeah, 4/6 Shredder. Already going to have to combo kill this opponent because I'm not winning any other way. Reclaimer, that's awesome. I get to tracker, land, investigate, fetch, land, investigate, reclaimer. They get to connive, unfortunately. Wow, Shredder's good. But what am I going to do? Not cast a spell? Oh god, Shredder's discarding expressive iterations. We've lost. It's over. This is what a real modern deck looks like. 5, 6, 7. Yeah, they just have 7 power in the air already. This Thoughtseize is almost missed. I'm going to count this as a moral victory. They Thoughtseize Spore Mound again. That's twice in this league that an opponent has Thoughtseized and chosen Spore Mound. This time they didn't have any other choices, but we don't need to talk about that. They've terminated my Reclaimer. Remember last turn when I Endurance them, and now they're going to have 7 cards in their graveyard already? Or it's actually 8 with the Terminate. 1 card left. It's Death Shadow. We are very dead. It's 11 in the air. There's not a draw in my deck. Yeah, Valakut ain't it. That's because there isn't anything. I'm going to draw clues. Like, I have a chance here. Shadow's a 2/2. That's plenty big enough, because the Air Force is killing me already. Alright, yep. We're dead. Absolutely destroyed. We took a game off them, though, with 3/4 tribal. But lesson learned. Game 1 would have been a lot more interesting if we were hitting land drops. Some mulches or mulch effects are going to make it into the rebuild at the end of the league. Lesson learned. Also, the lack of removal in this deck. Absolutely becoming a disturbing thing when we're playing against decks with creatures. On to the next one. On the play against a Yorion. And I have finally run into the deck with many non-forest lands versus Utopia Sprawl. I have to mulligan this. Unfortunate, because both my Wrens are here. There we go. I'm going to try this one. Keep this, and this is a Prismatic Ending deck, but it's also the kind of deck that Impact Tremors could add up pretty big over time. I'm going to bottom the Tranquil Thicket, because I would only keep it to cycle it anyway, and by putting it back in the deck, it's like I don't even have to cycle it, it's just already gone. Lead on Arbor Elf. I don't know exactly what my opponent's doing yet, but the 4-color Omnath Yorion decks are generally what these decks are up to. Okay, I can get Stomping Ground. Yes, I'd like to pay 2 life. I can put Utopia Sprawl on Stomping Ground. Name green, because this is a red land already. And then I can play Impact Tremors and Elvish Reclaimer. And then my hand is Life and Limb. It's all uphill from here. Take 1, sucker. I can play the Life and Limb. I don't know if that's good, but I can do it. A lot of the lands in this deck are forests. So maybe there's something there. I don't know. Giving their land Summoning Sickness could delay them. If they just Wren and 6 me here. Model luck. Oh, they're a Fury deck. If I play Life and Limb and they pitchcast Fury, I think the career is over. Windswept Teeth being cracked immediately. Smells like Wren and 6 to me. Stomping Ground. Yeah, there's no white mana in the mix here. Red-green stuff. Wren and 6 it is. Like my Arbor Elf. Brutal. Joke's on you. I wasn't really casting spells anyway. Do I want to rotate this turn or put 1 point on Wren? Is Wren being at 1 versus 3 important to me? Or 2 versus 3? I don't think so. Yeah, I'm gonna use Reclaimer this turn. I can actually never catch up to Wren if I attack it here, but if I activate Reclaimer, get a fetch land, fetch next turn, I can attack Wren for 3, which is its available loyalty. I don't have a lot of faith. My creature is going to connect against the deck with Solitude and Teferi and possibly Icefang Coatl, depending on the build. There's Fury. We're getting ephemerated here. We just chilling. What's going on? Okay, I'm going to float a green, activate Reclaimer, sack the forest. I'm probably just getting a fetch land here. I'm just going to grab Verdant Catacombs. Spores. I'm going to fetch my elf to a 3/4. Now it can pressure Wren. I've seen the Fury face up in their hand so I can literally never cast this Life and Limb unless the game is over immediately. What do we got here? Ice Fang Waddle. All right, it's not close to Death Touch. It's just a blocker. I'll count that. They are getting closer and closer to casting this Fury on the face. It is guaranteed to occur next turn because Ren and 6 has hit all their land drops. Nice. It's a fairy action to make sure everybody's safe. Bouncing my elf. Well, that does turn on the Tremors. And I might be able to cheese this opponent out by just making creatures. God, I only played 2 of these and I have them both. Stop it. Okay, take 1, and then you cast Fury, and then I lose forever. Active fetch land down to 11. The race is on. It's interesting they're fetching their Triomes. I've played quite a bit of the 4-color decks, and I found that I never fetch my Triomes because I want them in the deck for later, like as a repeatable source of card advantage with Ren and 6, just cycle, pick it back up. And if you fetch them early, you don't get them later. And you can assemble your colors just fine off of Shocklands, Basics, and Abundant Growths. You don't need Triomes to actually cast spells. Okay. Well, now I'm not going to be able to Impact Tremor them. They get to Omnath and Fury and gain 4 life. Plains doesn't cast Fury here, which is scary because that means they probably have Solitude instead. Risen Reef. Okay, they're the Risen Reef build. That means they don't have Counterspell and they don't have Expressive Iteration. Oh, it's weird they have Ice Fang Waddle though. Ice Fang Waddle probably means they don't have Ragavan. If you know like the general build structures of these 4-color decks, there's not room for all the cards this deck could play. Some versions have Eternal Witness and Ephemerate and 4 Counterspell, 4 Expressive Iteration. Some have Risen Reef, some have Ragavan, some don't. Ice Fang Waddle is usually the slot where Ragavan would be. Risen Reef is the slot where Expressive Iteration would be. Okay. I can Life and Limb and just fucking die. I can play Spore Mound and just lose it next turn. Alright, I've lost this game. I don't need to goof around in games that have obviously lost. Yeah, we had a couple close ones against some of the other fringier decks, and then just Grixis Death Shadow and 4-color Omnath 2 in a row. The best 2 decks in Modern. Splat. They don't have Counterspell, so I don't need Destiny Spinner. This deck's complete lack of removal. Again, really sad. But I think this is a matchup where I just need to focus on Valakuting them. In the Fear... God. Life and Limb versus Fury is so bad. Holy shit, that's bad. Yeah, I really want to do the Life and Limb thing at least once in this league, and we're running out of time to do that, but you just can't defend this card when your opponent has Fury in their deck. It's not an option. I think that's the only change I'm making. The Tracker's in, the Life and Limb's out. And it's extra awkward because there's like cascading consequences of that, where if Life and Limb's out, then your 5-mana Spore Mound would be just way better as a 3-mana Scoot Swarm or Scoot Mob, whichever Scoot one makes additional Scoots. Yeah, the deck is built around doing Life and Limb things, but it's also bad at, like, that card is bad, but then when that card's bad, it collapses everything that's built around it. It's rough. One thing I toyed around with in the deck building phase of this was a really aggressive sideboard, like Brushfire Elementals and Akum Battle Hounds, just like become Zoo, basically, which I think is a cool way to go, because we're not beating these control decks. I kind of went the other way of like settle in to be more controlling and focus on the combo, but the control decks are just better than us at being control decks, and they're always going to be, so maybe I want Brushfire Elementals and stuff. All right, got kind of a tricky turn here. I can... Maybe it's not that tricky. Like, do I want Utopia Sprawl in play, or do I want Valakut in play is the question here. And I think I want to get Sprawl down. And if they spend a Prismatic Ending on it, good. That's one less they'll have for Ren. Forest and Sprawl. I am going to name green, because I already have a ton of red mana in my hand. I have a ton of green too with Yavimaya. I don't want to lead on Yavimaya because that helps their deck. Mountain, Ren and 6. I don't mind that a mana's going unspent. I don't want to play Tracker until I can play and crack a fetch land all at the same time. Ren's loading up here. If they have Prismatic Ending, then that gives me a free turn to develop Tireless Tracker, make 2 clues. Fetching Triome right off the bat again. Perfect. Yeah, wasting a Prismatic Ending on that is fine. Like, it's a good thing to get rid of. You don't really want that in play, but it's not a huge part of my plan. Tracker, however, I'm very excited about. Some clues. I'm gonna get a Stomping Ground in now when I'm not spending mana anyway. They could play Teferi and bounce a clue, but then they lose Teferi right away. This Oath is a little awkward right now. It takes them off Teferi. There's a Solitude. If they pitch cast Solitude here, that's a 2-for-1 on the Tireless Tracker, and then I get 2 more off the 2 clues it's already generated. So it's a 4-for-1. But if they don't do it, it's going to become a 5, then 6, etc. for 1. Ren, all right. I can attack and kill that. Now they're extra incentivized to play Solitude, actually. Ooh, that's a big one. Okay. Tireless Tracker. I'm going to get more clues here. I'm going to punish the shit out of them for not Solituding. And I'm not going to crack my fetch land because they're kind of priced into Solituding now. And if I crack, they can Solitude in response and I don't get the 4th clue. But if I make them act first, then I'm going to get an extra clue. Going after Ren. And I'm going to draw a card. Make my tracker big enough to kill Ren. This is where Solitude happens, if it's going to happen. Yep, Solitude, pitching Eladamri's Call. Got it. And I'm going to fetch in response. Get a Forest in here. Get that extra clue on the way out. Roll 6-for-1. Let's hope it's good enough. My second main, I don't have a land drop yet left this turn. I could play Dryad and make another land drop. Or next turn, I could go Dryad, or I could go Yavimaya, Dryad, Valakut, shock immediately. I think I want to get the Dryad in right now. It does leave it open to removal, but just letting them know Valakut is coming. Put you on watch. I think if they had a Prismatic Ending, they would have used it last turn. Cracked their fetch land, then Ren picked it back up. Going after basics. There's no way the Blood Moon is in this deck. Are they worried about me having Blood Moon? Or are they just conserving their life total? What's going on here? Oh, just a desperate Coatl draw. Yes, it's a deal. Now they can't Prismatic Ending, and I'm in the Valakut with 2 Valakuts. I'm just going to light him up here. Do I want to spend any effort on Ren, or am I just going face? I think I'm just going face. Valakut is good for 6. They could Solitude in response. Yep, there it is. All right. I'm going to use this opportunity to draw a card. There's Benefaction. Okay. They had to 2-for-1 themselves again, just to survive at all here. I like that. Solitude's gone. Another Eladamri's Call is gone. These triggers will fizzle because there's no longer 5 other mountains in play. I could just straight up draw 2 cards, or I could Benefaction trying to spike 2 here. I think I just want the 2 in the hand, right? Worth 2 in the bush. That's what they say. I'm going to draw another clue card. Another Yavimaya. I could get Tremors into play or just draw another card. I could also just pass the turn and do none of the above, because I can draw a card at instant speed. I'm going to do that. They could have a big Omnath turn this turn, but I have 2 Valakuts in play now. 2 Solitudes are already gone, and 2 Eladamri's Calls that would have found more Solitudes or Omnath. I like that that's all out. Ren still has another turn cycle before it can think about going ultimate. Here's the Misty Rainforest that we knew about because of Ren. Another basic land. Fairy, okay. Please bounce my clue. Teferi is part of why I didn't play Tremors. It just gives them a really easy target. They should probably bounce their own Coatl to draw extra cards. Okay. They could bounce Utopia Sprawl also. That doesn't matter at all. Okay. I would have attacked for one with Coatl and then bounced my own Coatl to draw 2 extra cards instead of 1 extra card. But I don't know what's in their hand. That's just generally how I would approach that play pattern. Grip full of cards because Tireless Tracker's busto. You love to see it. I'm gonna Benefaction. Try to find another Dryad now. I did indeed find a Dryad. And I'm gonna use that as my enchantment and take Reclaimer as my creature. Put him in. Play Dryad first. Yavimaya is 2 Valakuts. I'm just going face. I'm gonna get this game over. I'm not worried about the Teferi. The Wrenn doesn't do anything this turn. Stomping Ground, yes, pay the 2 life. Zap you some more. Put you to 3. That was the best Benefaction we've had yet. And then Utopia Sprawl. Jump onto this Stomping Ground named Green and drop out all these elves. That was a good turn. Who knows if it's good enough, but it was good. 1, 2, 3. Only 3 actual mountains. I don't even know if there's enough mountains in the deck to trigger Valakut naturally. Yeah, there's only 5 in the whole deck, so can't actually win with Valakut without a Dryad involved. There's Omnath. Let's see where this goes. We know there's a fetch land in hand. And go to 7 life and get a pile of mana. Do they have a 3rd Solitude? Fury also does it here, but they have to fetch red, which means they have to shock down to 4. Yeah, it looks like they do have Fury. Fetch shocking a red source here is a bit of a tell. This Impact Tremors is going to be just a little short. And there's Fury. Gonna roast the Dryad. And Prismatic Ending with your last floating mana. Wrong. Wrenn picked up another land, so I actually need... Yeah, I'm on the full 3rd Dryad or bust here. Wrenn in 6. Life and Limb would actually win this game. That's messed up. Goblin Bombardment. There's no Dryad Arbor in the deck, which would be a combo with Impact Tremors. So Kenzin picking up Wrenn here. I could set up like a multi-turn line trying to rotate into Kenzin or Tranquil Thicket. I just don't have time to do that. Because they can Emblem Wrenn next turn. Maybe I should just kill Wrenn then. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. They can get and cast Yorion next turn. Oh, that's awful. Yeah, we're going to end 3 points short here. That turn they killed the 2nd Solitude, picking off the 1st Dryad Arbor, or Dryad of the Elysian Grove. Stabilize at 3 with Omnath. That's how this one ends. Elvish Reclaimer putting Kenzan into play. Sucks. If Kenzan was in my hand, we'd actually win right now. But if ifs and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas. And it looks like we're not having a Merry Christmas here. I'm just staring at this, making sure I'm not missing anything, but I don't think that I am. The Yorion just flickering everything next turn. They don't even really need to Emblem Wrenn, but they could, and then ending my Tremors and my Reclaimer and my Wrenn. And they're going to gain 4 life off Omnath. I guess I have to play to the possibility that I just draw the other Dryad. Okay, I'm going to play Wrenn in 6. And I'm going to kill Icefang Coatl. That's one card they're not going to draw. I think that's better than... Oh, no, it's not, because they can plus to Fairy and then have just... damn it. All right, I might have messed that up. Yeah, the ability to Emblem Wrenn plus to Fairy and just hold up Prismatic Ending forever sucks. This would be a spot where Bojuka Bog would be good, but like I said, not included in the deck. I'm going to fall a bit short here. There's the plus on Teferi. Are we seeing the Wrenn emblem? Played the land first, went up to 7. Fetching. Here's the mana. Prison Reef. Okay. That spiked a land, so I'm taking 4 from Omnath. Not a huge deal. Oh, Wren's taking 4 from Omnath. Yeah, we both are. That's how Omnath works. This card is insane. Abundant growth. Okay, they're not going to be able to Yori in this turn. Might not need to. If they have a land in their hand and they emblem Ren, I can't actually win the game. Oh, Ephemerate. Yeah, that's fucked up too. Yeah, that gets them an extra card off Risen Reef and roasts up my Reclaimer. I am, of course, going to activate it in response. Back the Yavimaya, that's a legendary land I have an additional copy of already. Guess I just grab the extra Valakut, play to the world where I draw the exact card I need to. Risen Reef hit another land. I actually prefer Risen Reef hitting lands here to spells. And they could have... Oh, they minus Ren. Wow. I'm not sure this is how I would have played this game. Like, they could have declined to put the land into play off Risen Reef. Emblemed, and then I can never win. Now I have one draw step to rule them all. Dryad of the Elysian Grove. It's time. Oh, no! Alright. I'm dead. GG. Yeah, this bombardment a turn or two ago. I feel like there's something between Tremors and Bombardment that we need to pick aside because they're kind of pulling the deck in different directions. On to the final round. I'm on the play in the final round, and I have a Splendid Reclamation and a Spore Mound. Let's do this. Keeping the hand. I believe I want to lead on Sprawl. Basic Forest, Utopia Sprawl. Invest in the future. So I could invest in the future by playing Reclaimer. Yeah, nope, changing my mind. I like that better because I can sprawl, use one land to sprawl another land, and then I can start rotating with Reclaimer. Yeah, this is how we do it. Just fueling this Splendid Reclamation like crazy. Utopia Sprawl. And I'm going to name... I will name red for good measure. Not going to attack because I'm planning on using this. Playing in some sort of Artifact Affinity style deck. Frogmite, what's up? 2003. Rotating away this forest. I can get any land here. Is it time for a Valakut? I believe that it is. Yeah, let's put that into play. I have a 3/4 creature now. Oh, Commune with the Gods. We're doing it, squad. I'm going to commune. Down the Dryad. This is what we're looking for. This is why we show up in the morning. Stomping Ground. Yes, I'll pay the extra. I can play Goblin Bombardment here and attack. Start whittling down their life total. Or I could just commit to the combo and rotate another land away into Valakut, setting up the world's biggest Splendid Reclamation. I think I want Goblin Bombardment, though. Does that make any sense? 1, 2, 3, 4. No, it doesn't. I should just have as many Valakuts in play as possible. Thought Monitor. That's powerful. Ornithopter. Okay. Still can't attack through my gigantic 3/4. Rotating into another Valakut. Ho 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 ho. Alright. Do I play around removal? 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't even know that that's possible. Alright, Dryad of the Elysian Grove, get into play. Play another Valakut. Check. Let's see if you can counter. Please don't, by the way. There's a Saga. Don't care about that. Aether Spellbomb is a complete fucking disaster. Sojourner's Companion. Well, yeah, this is actual affinity. This is like the Pauper deck. Aether Spellbomb's gonna beat me, though. Oh my god. Okay, they Spellbomb now. That's a mistake. It's too early. Let's see if I can punish it. Probably not, though. Okay, I got a draw for turn here. Yavimaya, does that help? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Not quite. I redeploy this Dryad. Play Yavimaya. And I can play Goblin Bombardment now. 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm not quite dead on board. If they give me even one more turn, they have 3 cards in hand. Urza's Saga's up. Need them to not have, like, Cranial Plating. Another Saga, okay. I was drawn off Thoughtcast. 4, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to block with Elvish Reclaimer. One of the 4/4s. Deal 1 damage to you on the way out. We play tight around here. We're going to deal 1,000 damage next turn or 0. So that 1 damage is going to be completely immaterial. But I am excited to do it. I've untapped. Moment of truth. Let's reclaim. Is it splendid? How do we do? Oh, yes. We've done it again. Take 1 million. If they can somehow remove my Dryad, they can still win. But they cannot. It's like Scape Shift, but from the zombie world. Fucking zombie Scape Shift. Count it. Obviously a Force of Vigor matchup. I think it's probably an Alpine Moon matchup too. I'm cutting Tremors. I don't believe this card should be in the deck, actually. I think it is correct to cut some number of the top end and just go for speed, but it's the last round, and I'm going to try really hard to make Life and Limb and Spore Mound happen. I'm going to cut some Communes. So Commune can find Alpine Moon faster, but you got to lose something. I'm not convinced this matchup is about super speed, so maybe Arbor Elf can go. No, it's one of the Spore Mounds. I'm leaving Life and Limb in. Stubbornly, I refuse to cut it. And is Utopia Sprawl or Arbor Elf a better card by itself? They're pretty close to the same. I'm going to cut an Arbor Elf. But Elf combos with Goblin Bombardment, and Utopia Sprawl is just a card. But Sprawl is an enchantment for enchantment density on the Benefaction. Do I need more enchantments or do I need more creatures? I think I need more creatures than I need enchantments to balance this out. There's 8, 12, 15 creatures, and 3, 4, 5, 9, 10, 11. Oh, it's actually the other way. Utopia Sprawl in, Arbor Elf out. Let's go. All right. Keeping. Got to keep Utopia Sprawl and Arbor Elf, even though I boarded some of it out. They mulled to 6 and then played Welding Jar, so they mulled to 5. Arbor Elf first. Get that Summoning Sickness out of the way. Relic, that sucks. Okay, how do I want to play this now that Relic of Progenitus is involved? I can Stomping Ground. Yes, I'll pay 2 life. Utopia Sprawl on Stomping Ground. Name green. And I can just hardcast Force of Vigor right now, or I could get Ren into play and attack for 1. I could put Ren into play. I'm a mana short of Benefacting. I guess I'm just attacking. My deck does that too. Surprise. I will remember to activate Ren at 6, don't worry. I return nothing. Thoughtcast, okay. Welding Jar Relic is kind of exactly annoying enough that it's not doing what I want it to. Okay, I can Benefaction here and just overload the graveyard. That sounds like it's worth doing. Benefaction of Ronus. Let's go. Alpine Moon and Arbor Elf, or Goblin Bombardment and Arbor Elf. I think I want Alpine Moon. So Bombardment is part of the big combo, but I'm a little worried about Urza's Saga, but I don't think they have one right now. I'm going to take Alpine Moon and Arbor Elf. They don't have enough mana right now to blow up my whole graveyard, so I will get my Valakut back, even if they activate Relic in response, which they didn't even do. Play Valakut. I'm going to untap my Fancy Forest. Then I can play Arbor Elf and Alpine Moon. Just proactively turn off Urza Sagas. Maybe I'm supposed to name, like, Mistvault Bridge. I think it loses Indestructible, because this says it loses all abilities. Like, I could just name one of these bridges and go to town off Force of Vigor. Another Thoughtcast. Ooh, they left up a mana this turn. The machines are learning. Or they just don't have anything to play. We can never know. I can play another Benefaction. I think I might as well. Just make this graveyard look really juicy. Benefaction. 0 for 5. I can't believe that happened twice in the league. I'm no mathematician, but damn. I'm going to plus targeting a Valakut, see if they want to pop their Relic for this. Alright, cool. Exiled all cards from graveyards. that turns on Sokenzin as a thing I can do now. I'm going to play Yavimaya as my land for turn, and then untap Stomping Ground, and I'm going to channel Sokenzan and attack for 3. And then I can add 2 spirits to the board every turn until they blow up my graveyard again. And I'm still holding on to this Force of Vigor. I hope this green mana is not helping them. I don't think they're a green deck, though. I would be surprised. Springleaf Drum. Oh, they put Urza Saga straight in the graveyard. They don't know how it works. They put it into play, it died instantly. I think they thought they were going to get a 5-color land. Oof. Hard lessons here in the modern leagues. Another drum. They've unloaded their hand here. Joiner's Companion at the top of the heap. Thought Monitor, also pretty good. I love how they discarded Urza Saga, just put it straight in the graveyard, and their turn is still fucking insane. All right, they can put some damage on Ren here. Let's see what the deck offers. A Dryad of the Elysian Grove. I like that quite a bit. I think I want to minus Ren and ping the Ginger Brute. See if I can bait a Welding Jar activation. I feel like this would be crazy to use Welding Jar on. All right, my opponent tends to agree. You can play the other Ren now, pick up Sokenzin. Yeah, I'm dropping the new Ren. Ping this one. Making sure to use my ability. Is this better as a land or as creatures? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 mana right now. These blockers are pretty dope. I'm just going to pass the turn. I don't need to decide how I want to use all this right now. They can only put 2 flying damage on Ren. My spirit tokens can block Sojourner's Companion forever. I don't actually even need to Force of Vigor. Treasure Vault's pretty insane. Nice. I love that technology. Another Springleaf Drum. Last card in hand is the Cranial Plating. Goodness. All right. They can plate up Thought Monitor. I'm going to have to Force of Vigor targeting Cranial Plating and Thought Monitor. Oh. That's bad. Yeah, I forgot about Ornithopter over there. Okay, beginning of combat. I'm going to let them attack. Oh, I don't know why I thought they would attack Ren. Obviously, just kill me is the play. Okay. Have a Force of Vigor here. I'm going to cast it for its mana cost. If you regenerate a creature, it does leave combat. I could destroy Cranial Plating and Ornithopter, but yeah, that doesn't really do anything. I'm going to go after Thought Monitor and Ornithopter. And I do have to go after Ornithopter because I don't think regenerating Cranial Plating will change the current combat math. Wait, what just happened? Oh, the Thought Monitor died and Ornithopter left. Oh, my brain is having trouble keeping up with this board state right now. Yep, I took 0 damage. That's what was supposed to happen. I have 3 mana to spend right now. That's not enough to... So Kenzin. Okay. Utopia Sprawl. That's big. I'm going to sprawl up the same land again. This time I'm going to say red. And we're going to... So Kenzan. Pick it up. Now it's a land, or it can be more spirits. Where do I want this to go right now? I can attack for... I can push some damage through right now. Do I think this game's going to come down to a scrappy little race? It might. Yeah, it honestly might. And if they trade Memnite, it's a point off their Ornithopter. That's important. I'm 1 land short of starting to do Valakut stuff, so I'm going to attack here. I take the free eat for sure. And I guess I will deploy their Hellbent. I'm gonna put my Dryad in. Okay. They can put me to 7. I can make 2 blockers with Sokenzan. Springleaf Drum doesn't matter. The Dryad Arbor 2/4 keeps the Frogmite and Memnite out of combat. I can block the Sojourner with my spirit tokens. Or they can just... Okay, they suddenly decide Ren and 6 is a problem. Okay. Not sure if I agree with that, but I'm happy it happened. It's time to draw a fetch land and just light them up with Valakut. That's what's going on here. A fetch land? Oh my god. Alright, so Kenzan, land number 1. If I attack with my spirits, I could also just kill Ornithopter. I'm going to attack with my spirits. Yeah. Attacking with spirits. Yeah, I can deal 6 with Valakut right now. They got the 1 damage on the Sojourner. Wooded Foothills. Finish off Sojourner. And I can fetch to kill Ornithopter. Maybe I should just be going face here, but I'm feeling okay with the board stabilization plan against this Hellbent opponent. Okay, they still have Cranial Plating. If they attack with Frogmite, I can double block with my Arbor Elves. And then I have the Spirit Token chillin' to fight the Memnite. Okay, yeah, it's them drawing real spells, like truly good interactive spells, versus me drawing lands. Okay, 4/4 is just another creature. I think the double block here is better than chumping. Viseiju is also in my deck. It's in there somewhere. Lands kill creatures. Oh, is this good? I don't even know. I need help. Okay, so this turns my forest into creatures. Do I want that? What the fuck? That is a lot of chump blocking that is available to me. It also opens me up to creature removal. Does that matter? I have no idea. I genuinely have no idea what's going on right now. I guess I'm gonna cast this. If he dies, he dies. Life and Limb, baby. Here are my Saproling Forest creature lands. Ah! No idea if that's good, but it happened. Wait, that's actually terrible, because now fetch lands only deal 3 instead of 6. Because they have Summoning Sickness. What the fuck is happening? Okay. This did just create 6 power in play, which affects their ability to attack or block. And their lands are also creatures now, but now they have indestructible 1/1s. Oh no, that's bad. What is happening? Yeah, they can equip their cranial plating to an indestructible creature now. Mistakes have been made. They can equip plating at instant speed. I'm just going to block with my spirit. That's what it's here for. Okay. I may have thrown this game in the trash. Benefaction of Ronus. All right. Time to find a Spore Mound for some validation here. All right, Ronus. Make something happen here. Benefact me. Arbor Elf and Elvish Reclaimer. Elvish Reclaimer seems better than Arbor Elf here. Get Dryad and Reclaimer. The Tranquil Thicket just went to the graveyard, but that doesn't really matter. Okay, here are these now. What am I going to do with them? I'll put them into play is the answer. Oh, wait. No, these are not Saprolings. I was like, oh, these get Valakut triggers, but nope, still don't understand how this deck works. Here are some creatures. Yeah, these indestructible blockers mean I can't even, like, poke for 2. This is absolute insanity. Okay, they're continuing to put cranial plating onto their biggest creature instead of their indestructible ones. Another 4/4. Can't take 16 and go to 1 here. Gonna have to block. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh shit, they figured out how to attack with their other creature. Bad. Because they can move cranial plating at instant speed. I needed them not to notice that that's how that works. Okay, I'm gonna block here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can block with Sokenzan and still have enough to trigger Valakut. Yeah, playing this Life and Limb was a huge fucking mistake. Yeah, they figured out how to put an indestructible 1/1 together. Okay, deck. I don't deserve it, but how about a Spore Mound right now? Alpine Moon. Does that help? I can name Razortide Bridge, and it's not indestructible anymore. Perfectly destructible. Okay, Razortide Bridge is no longer indestructible. I can Elvish Reclaimer, Yavimaya out of play, and then their land's not even a creature anymore. That's fun. Okay. I've got action now. Oh, but blocking last turn means that I don't get Valakut triggers out of the Reclaimer now. Oh my god. This is insane. Okay, they moved cranial plating onto their indestructible land, which I can make not a land anymore at instant speed, or not a creature anymore. So that might not matter because they can still move the plating around. Oh, I can block with all my lands and then flip them out of combat by making them not lands anymore. Wait, but all my lands are just forests anyway. I needed to leave Valakut up if I wanted to make that play. Oh no. What is happening? Okay. Plating is good for 13 right now. So putting it onto a Sojourner Companion is actually lethal. So I'm going to block with Yavimaya, which I'm going to rotate out anyway. And then block with Elvish Reclaimer. And then if I rotate Yavimaya into Yavimaya, do I have another one in the deck? Yeah, my first one isn't used yet. Okay. Gonna rotate Yavimaya into Valakut. Their land's not a creature anymore. Mine still is. I think I have to get Valakut here, though. And now, even if I draw a fetch land, it's not good enough because it has summoning sickness. I've certainly made it weird. All right, they moved their plating onto a creature that I think they forgot is already blocked. I guess I can Utopia Sprawl again, but I'm going to start losing because, yeah, I'm out of lands. All right, shit. Okay, Life and Limb cost me the game. It did not have the Spore Mound to go with it, which was the real problem. No sign of Boseiju anywhere in this game either. Okay, Life and Limb is disqualified. You're banned. You're not coming back in here. I don't care. I tried to do the thing, and it made everything significantly worse. What is the play now that's where we're at? Could bring in trackers in case this gets scrappy again. Could bring in communes, try to combo kill them, but we've seen Relic. I think I like tracker. There is something cool going on here. It's just not... I don't think it's what Swim originally intended for the deck to do. We can all see the engines. We can just see them failing to come together also. I'm going to keep this. And I have 6 minutes on my clock, so I got to go fast, whatever we do here. Stomping Ground, yes. Arbor Elf, yes. Let's go. I have a Boseiju here, which can do stuff. Oh, Wrenn and 6 with Boseiju, yes. Stomping Ground, yes. Utopia Sprawl, name green, make green, untap, make more green. Gonna Benefaction. There's lots of green 1-drops in the deck, that's why I left green floating, including Arbor Elf. Oh, is it time for Spore Mound? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's time for Spore Mound. Fuck Arbor Elf. I don't think I've made a Saproling with Spore Mound yet in this league, and it's time. It's about time. Urza Saga. Disappointing. Springleaf Drum. Oh, I can destroy Saga with Boseiju. We're good. Shadow Spear. Force of Vigor. That's a good one, too. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to make Wrenn and 6. I'm going to untap Stomping Ground. Then I'm going to Boseiju, Urza Saga. If they have any lands with names in their deck, there's not very many. You have at least one island. Pick up Boseiju. Play Valakut. Pass. Okay. This looping Boseiju is a pretty big deal. 4 minutes to win the game. Could be plenty of time. Based on what we're playing against here. They would need like Pithing Needle to shut me down, but even then I have Force of Vigor to punch through. Utopia Sprawl. Yeah. Name green. Green. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Big Daddy Spore Mound. Return Stomping Ground. I'm playing really fast here. I'm not convinced this is correct, but it's certainly what I'm doing. And I'm going to pay the 2 so I can Boseiju at instant speed, if necessary. We've made a Saproling token. Up monitor, bummer. Yeah, I'd feel a lot better about this game if I had 9 minutes on my clock. Ugh. Format script's annoying. Canyon's also annoying. I guess I have to chump block for a turn. Force of Vigor, the Crypt. Plating, brutal. Force of Vigor needs to save me. Plating, okay. Can save Ren either way here. I'm just gonna take 4 and block. Okay, it's go time. Not Besajuing. Green mana. Untap. Green mana. Force of Vigor, destroying Cranial Plating and Tormod's Crypt. Get rid of those, please. Get encrypted in response, that's fine. Besaju, get rid of your flying creature. Ren, pick up Besaju. Elvish Reclaimer. And Spore Mound remains useless. Another companion. They're empty over there, and they're out of lands to search for. Shadow Spearing, a 3/3 when I have a 3/4. You attack with everything, I take 4, and that's fine. Oh, right. Nope, I don't have a 3/4. Right, Spore Mound. You've served your country well. Sage you. I need to keep Ren around, just stabilize this situation. I think I'm winning this game with time on the clock, but that's not a thing I have. Gotta get some Valakuts together, but it might take me 2 minutes to put Valakut triggers on the stack. Oh, baby. Return Besaju to my hand, and then pass the turn. I lose Arbor Elf or Ren here. I think Ren is more important than Arbor Elf. Knight, don't care. Block the 4/4 without trample, destroy the one with trample. And then I'm going to start spinning my lands into Valakuts, and I need to find a Dryad, and then I need 2 minutes on my clock to click through. Oh, it's bad. Bad scene all around. Grab Valakut. Oh, there's Dryad. We're getting there. One step at a time. Besaju in hand. Dryad in play. They're not dead yet over there. But a 2/4 does help stabilize here. They just went wide, Shadow Spearing the Mem Knight. Back for 4 because you have to. Sage you that because I have to. Currently 2 lands in the graveyard. Mem Knight, don't care. Forest, 1, 2, 3, 4. Plus targeting Besaju. Play my Forest. I can play Besaju and then rotate. Yeah, I'm going to play Besaju, which can start going upstairs. Got to start winning this game. I should have rotated into another Valakut in response, but I think we're still good here. Get another Valakut. All right, we should win the game right now. If I can click through this in 90 seconds. Always yield. Always yes. And we're in there. 2 more lands returning to play, dealing a total of 9 damage each. 70 seconds, plenty of time to click through this. And the opponent conceded. Okay. 2 and 3. Not bad, all things considered, for how crazy this deck is. I gotta say, Swim, I'm sorry. The Light from the Limb Spore Mound thing never came together. And each of these cards are pretty horrible on their own. We almost had something going, like we were a Goblin Bombardment away from Life and Limb just hardlocking Tron, but that was not a thing that happened. I think that the self-mill, mulch, extra land drops, Splendid Reclamation, Valakut thing with Elvish Reclaimer was really cool. The Besaju and Sokenzan stuff really came together a couple of times. This deck wants more Ren and 6, it wants more self-mill, it wants more land drops. And, well, Ren and 6 would help hit the land drops. So I'm going to save this deck. I'll post this deck as I played it in the links in the video description, but I'm also going to open a copy of it and fix it in the direction of being a Graveyard Scapeshift deck instead of the Spore Mound stuff. So, Swim, I did what I could to make this deck do what you wanted it to before the league. Now I'm going to make this deck do something different after the league. This is where I am after a quick pass at turning this into the landfall upside down Scapeshift deck. I'm sure it needs work, obviously. I haven't played a single game with it yet, but I cut all of the original stuff. Like, we're just on a different trajectory now. The point where we're talking about Swim's deck is over. I'm just talking about a different deck inspired by Swim's deck at this point. Elvish Reclaimer, really cool. It's kind of a zoo creature. It's like a 1 mana 3/4 some amount of the time, or a 1 mana creature that can become 3/4 quickly. Brushfire Elemental, I mentioned this as a sideboard juke, but maybe it's sweet just in the main deck. If you have your opponent kind of reeling from the start by attacking with a hasty 5/5 that's difficult to block, then that prioritizes one thing, and then you're like, surprise, Splendid Reclamation later. I added Titania at the top end. This is just a card I'm kind of obsessed with. I play it in EDH and I love it. When she enters the battlefield, return target land from your graveyard to the battlefield. So she's a thing that you can get off Benefaction or Commune and then bring a land back from the graveyard, which is something we need access to. 4 Wrenn and 6 now. I mentioned playing mulches in the league, but the answer is just, throw some money at the problem and play Wrenn and 6. This hits your land drops the way that we want mulch to do, but also sticks around as a planeswalker to do other stuff. The Benefactions and Communes are a little different now because we're not looking for Life and Limb and Spore Mound and Impact Tremors and like all these weird combo pieces. But I think the density of enchantments and creatures is high enough that this is still cool, and we still need ways to self-mill lands into the graveyard to pop with Splendid Rec and Titania. Dryad of the Elysian Grove being an integral necessary combo piece, and it is both an enchantment and a creature for Benefaction and Commune. You just get a lot of looks at exactly this card, which is what you want to be doing. I did like a once-over on the mana base and tried to figure out if I could get enough mountains in here to actually just natural Valakut some amount of the time. And that would just completely undermine the ability to be a Utopia Sprawl Arbor Elf deck. But maybe we don't need to be a Utopia Sprawl Arbor Elf deck. We're not doing that much with big mana, but at the same time, then if Utopia Sprawl's not in the deck, then you don't get the Benefaction thing anymore. There are just a lot of things to consider, a lot of overlapping pieces here, and I promise this deck is not perfect. You could build a better zoo deck, you could build a better Scapeshift deck, but for the concept of exactly what we're trying to do now, which is make landfall, like Gruul landfall, happen, I think this is a pretty good starting point. I'm going to leave this here before it drives me insane and I go down some sort of rabbit hole like a conspiracy theorist and throw my life away trying to figure out this Gruul landfall Scapeshift deck. I'm just going to leave it alone. Swim, thank you for your original deck. Thank you for your inspiration for this deck. Viewers, both of these decks will be linked in the video description below. Thank you all for watching. I hope you had fun, and I'll see you for the next one.